This time on the old school series. With harvest concluded and tillage season now upon us, we'll need to start selling some of our grain stored in the bins. As scattered around the map, there are a couple of items I'm looking at, whether it's through auction or through purchasing. But in the end, it's safe to say we have a lot of work cut out for us. So let's get right to it. Well, top of the morning to you ladies. My name is Rental Buck. Welcome back to the old school series on Midwest Horizon. We're getting ready to start selling off pretty much all of our grain. The prices are the best I'm going to be right now for the plans that I have to get done. The 5020 is just gotten cleaned up. We've gotten it in the shop. We've been working on the combine, getting it winterized. We also have the 850 getting tuned up for service. We need some money though if we're going to be doing any of this. And as you guys saw in the intro, we're trying to get some newer equipment and changing out some of our stuff. I am going to use the John Deere skid steer though, as I got this pallet of barrel weights that I made a little bit over the summer, just if in case I needed a tractor weight, or like right now, I'm just going to use the Chevy to pull the gravity wagons to sell the grain. While it might not be the greatest idea, I do want some weight in the bed since I will be towing 2 gravity wagons of 300 bushel plus. And I know the Chevy's good enough to be doing the job for this. I just want to make sure it has some weight in the bed in case there were to be coming of a problem. Now, if you guys have not already, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe down below. As you guys know, we're on the race to 75,000 public subscribers by the end of 2023. And as I get the Ford 3600 spun around and hooked back up so we can lower the auger and begin unloading, I'd like to say it is absolutely fantastic to be back on the old school series. There were some problems that I had come up with, especially the 5020, me deleting the entire mod itself, so I had to redo all of that before I could even come back on the series because I didn't have my main tractor. But everything's addressed now, and we're just about ready to start making some money. Now I'm going to start with selling corn, as I have just over 6,000 bushels worth of corn in my bins. I am going to go talk to my agronomist to come out once I start making some money and getting soil samples for all of my land. I can only get soil samples for, I believe, both my cornfields. That's the area I could pay $43,000 for. The only thing I did not check was the grain prices, as I had 600 bushel in the carts. So we need to sell to the Cooper Farm Grain. Let's tag that place. Look on our map. It is down in the bottom left. Okay. Well, let's get on the road. I'm going to throw on my hazards. This thing does not have any brakes whatsoever. The only thing I have to rely on is the brake system from the running gear, which is not the greatest, and then you pair that with old-fashioned truck brakes. This should be pretty entertaining. I'll keep it at about 30 miles an hour, though, and we'll sell the grain off, and we'll see where we're at. The one thing I know I'm not looking forward to is my grain dock that I'm going to take from this, this is about, I think, 17.1 to maybe 16.9% moisture corn. The grain prices, of course, in this game are a lot higher than they should be, but I didn't want to mess around with the prices on this map like I did in Nebraska. So $15 corn, yes, that's outrageous. Everybody would love that. Everybody would be a millionaire if that was the case. But I think when I did the math, it's going to be about $150,000 worth of grain that I have in my bins right now, which that will definitely help with paying off some of my loans, as well as looking into some of that new equipment, which I'm really looking at an auction right now. I currently have the bid at the highest, which I don't have the money for right now, but in the next 5 minutes, I will have that money. The farmer I do actually know, he's just on the opposite side. Instead of taking a right to get to this co-op, I had to take a left. He also has a 28-foot mower trailer that he's looking to sell. He was going to sell the trailer directly, but he put the truck up for auction. The truck's not running the best, but I can make it work for what I'm trying to do. I don't really like having the gravity wagon system, and I can start upgrading and updating my equipment a little bit. So we got our first cart going in, and our second cart. Let's see what this gets us. Well, we didn't get an environmental score, but we were about $25 short of $9,500 for the trailer. So if I'd have had a full back cart, that's 10 grand a load. And we're pretty set on that. I'm pretty excited. Let's head back, load up again, and we'll be back over. Now, while I start finishing up loading this cart, I want to show you guys quickly what that truck looks like, the Bison. Two huge differences about this. One being the headlights are actually two, and there's no sleeper in the Farm Sim one, but this is the truck I'm looking at. I won the bid at $8,000, but the interior's blue, and the truck is like tan, burgundy, orange, and yellow on the outside. Overall, it's in relatively pretty good condition. I mean, it's an old semi. What do you expect? It's got a Detroit. That's kind of the issue, though, is that the truck doesn't really run that great. But I'm pretty excited to go look at this, and if I can get the additional 16.5 that he wants for his like 2014 28-foot Mauer trailer, this will be a great buy, as well as that Parker auger wagon I'm looking at, which is actually just over there. You can actually see it, that little green dot in the center of the screen. But now that we're full on this, we'll go get ourselves another 10 grand, and I'm going to sell a couple loads of this. I'll catch back with you guys probably when we get some more money, so that way we can start going and buying the equipment. But we're finally now on our final load of corn. I kind of messed up my auger position in that, well, I filled up the back part, but not the front. So weight distribution has been kind of a problem with this one. I'm feeling a lot of pushing coming from the back. But we've been doing great. We're just probably going to crest over the $100,000 mark on this load. And then we're going to beans, which is probably only going to be Bambi in the road. I'm sorry, I was looking down. I just see that. But we should crest over the $100,000 mark so we could start getting our equipment purchases bought versus the loan payoffs that I'm going to have. It is starting to snow, so the roads are really starting to get a little bit slick. And this is not helping, but once I have all the grain sold, we don't have to worry about it. All of the grain is out of the bins. We'll get this last load of corn dumped off, so we'll meet you guys down at my neighbor who has the Chevy Bison along with that Mauer 28-foot trailer. And finally rolling up on the farm with the Chevy Bison, I'm very sad to say that I was probably a little bit over or under, give or take, about $1,000 from being $150,000 worth of grain. There is the Bison with the Mauer, and we'll be talking to Jeff, the gentleman who owns this. You can move, you're not going to stay there. But taking a look at the truck now for the first time, technically in person, I mean, I only paid $8,030 for this thing. Not yet, but I did pay, I said the winning bid was $8,030. So I have my $8,030 plus some auction fees in my pocket for this thing. Chunk change-wise, comes out to about $8,500. And that, on top of it, will now come with, because I'm buying the trailer with it, a 28-foot Mauer hopper bottom. And this is going to be purchased for about $16,500. It's not a brand new trailer, but it's also not anything that's super old. So let's go talk to Jeff, get our situation figured out, and we'll be paying our $25,000 between all the different fees and charges. Jeff, my main man, how you doing? I'm doing fantastic. It's getting kind of cold, and to be honest, it's getting kind of slick. I just got done selling off the last of my beans for the season, as well as my corn. I'm trying to get some new equipment while also trying to grow and expand the farm without breaking the bank. And your truck and trailer just seem to like be the best combo. Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely want to get a feel for this truck, and especially the 13-speed. I mean, is it clutch work? Is it engine work? What needs to be done to this thing? Because the inside of it, it's not terrible, but I do think that it probably will need a little bit of servicing work to it if that's the case. Let's fire it up, and it should kick like a top. Ooh. Very nice. Let's kick on the lights. Okay, we have headlights out. That's not good. We'll have to replace the bulbs, but we can work with that. Well, Jeff, I'm going to go take the truck for a spin around the section, just see how well it drives, see how it handles. And I got cash with me right now. I got the 25 grand for the trailer and the winning bid on the auction. So, yeah, I'll be right back, and you'll have this thing off your hand. Okay, well, the clutch doesn't feel terrible. This is a 13-speed Detroit. Oh, it gets into gear fine. not gonna lie, I love the way the truck sounds though. But I'll continue taking this thing back around the section, get a full 4-mile loop, and we'll see you guys back at Jeff's where we'll do a little bit of transactions, and it'll be on to our next purchase. I mean, really, I just have to say my only complaint that I have with the truck so far is that it just feels underpowered. Something I don't think is right. There might be some leaks that we need to go ahead and fix on this, but I mean, hey, we bought the truck for $8,000. What do you expect? Well, Jeff, I'm a man of my word. I need to do some work with the truck, but I got some time now and I'll have a little bit of extra cash flow to be doing that. But here is your 25 for the pair. It was a pleasure doing business with you, and we'll hope to see you around sometime, maybe down at the coffee shop. And with Daryl following in hot pursuit, let's get back to the farm and go look at the auger wagon, the Parker. And with our other gravity wagon now dropped off, Daryl's going to top off the fuel tank on the Detroit. We're going to move that into the shop, and while Daryl's moving the trailer around, just getting everything pieced together, I am going to take a look at the Parker auger wagon, which is just over at my neighbor's. This was listed on Tractor House for $7,800. I've been kind of looking at it, haven't really figured out if I want it yet, but if I'm gonna be getting a grain truck like that, I'd rather have something as well that makes the transporting of grain easier when crops are a bit better, and this thing seems like the best option. Let's take a little bit of a closer look. So we got a lot of paint chippage. I mean, it's been used. It's not like this is a brand new cart by any means. I mean, look at all the paint chippage that's on the inside of the auger. Treadwear is still fine. If anything, that's actually pretty new looking tires. Those might have been replaced at some point. PTO doesn't look like it's really flimsy. I mean, everything's just dirty. It's got dirt, grease, probably some blown lines at some point because some of those look like they're new hoses. This will be hooked up to the 5020, so I do also have to make sure that I have enough hydraulic ports for this to actually operate. Well, let's go talk to Tim and see what he can do about the cart. If we can work him down to maybe 7,500, or if we need to just do 7,800 cash. Ah, Tim, yes. Pleasure to see you, man. I saw your listing in Tractor House for the Parker cart. I'm pretty interested in it. I don't know if you'd be willing to take 7,500. I could do 78. I got cash on hand, but if you wanted 7,500 for the cart, I could take it right off your hands right now as is. I don't know if you've done anything different to it. Is there anything that I should know about this cart before investing and purchasing it from you? Just that I might need to look into some electrical. Don't worry about the bulbs. I highly doubt I'm ever going to use them anyway. This probably won't really even leave the farm that often. You do 7,500? Hey, I will definitely take that, man. It is very much appreciated. It's a very nice cart, and I actually already have the Parkers. You've seen me go by the entire morning. But I'm thinking about maybe selling off the Parker wagons just so I can have some extra money to work with. But yeah, 7,500, I'll take it. There you go, Tim. You have a good one. I'll get this hooked up, and if you ever need it or you ever need me to help you out with some of the grain transport, feel free to give me a ring, and I'll come on over and help you out. Luckily, we still have our pin hitch attached to the Chevy, so we'll just take it home with this tractor. The best thing I've done so far, though, easily has to go to the weights that are in the back. That really did help with the stability of the truck. I felt a lot more in control, even though there was a lot more weight on the truck. I just didn't have that unsecure feeling. I guarantee, no offense against my Ford, but the longer wheelbase with the big heavy weights in the back of the bed, this truck just felt a lot more sturdy. And that's just because it's bigger. We'll get this Parker home, and the only thing else that I want to go and try and grab, because I also have to get into the fields before the ground starts to freeze. It hasn't been cold enough yet, but it is still snowing, which means it is... Oh, sorry about that. But the only other thing I need to go look at is an NH3 toolbar, B&B, or the Benkark, I don't know how the heck you say the name. It's a small toolbar that I could technically pull with my International because it's small enough, and I might just tow it back with this. I don't really want to tow it back with the International. But with that, I'll be able to hook the 5020 back up to the mulch tiller, since I had to do a little bit of repairs since the turbo installation. There was a couple things kind of popped loose a little bit, or at least I was retorquing it all. And the International is going to be the one that applies anhydrous, since it's my only cabbed off tractor. I don't want to be laying down anhydrous in a tractor that doesn't have a cab. I'll still have to get all my Safety Max stuff on, as well as Daryl. And we might just have one or two different people do that job, so we're not having three different people changing in, getting the suits on, getting everything else out. We'll have one guy do tillage, one guy do the anhydrous, and then the other guy being me, mainly running the drone. So let's pop up in the 5020. I will have to move the Detroit because this thing has too wide of tires to get out of that door. But we'll send Daryl out to start working on tillage. Corey and I will begin working on getting the NH3 bar in check. And one of us will have to head down to the co-op to get a tank of anhydrous, if not two, so we can start using the toolbar. With Daryl getting ready to start on the field mulcher, and me going to look at this NH3 toolbar, Corey has been sent down with the 7.3 to go pick up some anhydrous tanks. I ended up giving him my second spare one of the pin hitches so we could tow those home. It's a tandem. This toolbar is owned by a man named Steven. He also had this listed for sale on Tractor House. It's a good quality toolbar, but it's seen better days. I mean, it actually cleaned it up pretty nicely. But it has all the hookups, it has all the attachments, heck, it even has lights, but the International doesn't really have a great electrical system on it to be running those, so I don't believe we're going to be running the lights anyway. Wanted $7,600 for the toolbar itself, and I can just do that in cash, so I'm going to go talk to Steven. We'll get this toolbar hooked up, bring it back, and we should be able to just drop it and go. We'll hook up the anhydrous tanks, safety equipment on, we'll be ready to go. And there is the notification through my phone that we have officially gotten the anhydrous from the co-op. Corey should be on his way back by now. If not, he's already back at the farm. I did also have the soil samples that should be coming in for our field analysis going in, and that's going to be on its own like $43,000 for everything that I need to have inspected. But let's take a look at our field map, and we'll see whether or not what I'm thinking is true. And yep, just as I suspected, this was our corn ground, this is bean ground. I'm going to end up probably doing anhydrous to all of these, because if this is how bad these are, this one's going to need it, and this one's going to need it, because if beans, yeah. But if we look at our pH, the pH is pretty low, so probably going to need to throw down a little bit of lime. And the soil types, it's got a lot of silty clay, which, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. But then we get to sand on towards the bottom half, and then right in the middle it's sandy loam. So we were working with a lot of clay dirt. While it does suck that I did lose $43,000 to that information definitely will help me. And I know that going forward from here, the more I can get information on my own land and expand, the better my product and production will be. In the addition that I could also run custom anhydrous, I'll just need to pretty much get my own tanks. I believe this will be a very beneficial part to the farm as well. As we know, sometimes you got to spend money to make money. I know Daryl is running right now on tillage. I can kind of see him over there. So we'll get the International's fuel tank filled up, and I'll get the toolbar hooked up, as well as all of my gas lines and my safety protection. And we'll be out laying some gas, getting some drone shots, and then eventually we'll let Corey take over, and we'll also go over and pan and watch some of Daryl's action. Can't see an absolute thing out of the glass in this tractor right now. I know I could at least see where all of my shanks are for the toolbar. Corey and I have been flipping back and forth on who's been laying the gas. I think that's probably going to end up doing it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for checking this one out. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe down below. If you guys do enjoy the old school content, be sure to leave a comment down below. I'm real excited to see where this farm is going to be going to from here. I'm already all safetied and equipped it up. I think it's a great idea that we ended up getting that second tank just in case we needed to use it for the other cornfield, which is really going to need as much nitrogen as possible. But if you haven't already, be sure to also check out the Boomstick Club for all the up-to-date content from me and the gang. You already know who is in it. And I shall see you guys all in the next one. This is the Rental Man out. Peace.